Welcome to this month's KTN webcast. I'm Doug Kennedy. We have for our topic today, overcoming higher rate objections, quoting higher rates and overcoming objections to those higher rates, but also availability and restrictions and whatnot, levers that revenue managers pull. So thank you for joining us. Thanks to our sponsors, Track, a TravelNet solution. You're behind us all the way. We appreciate you. Travel Outlook, the premier hotel call center. In fact, I see a lot of clients of both Track and Travel Outlook signed up here today. Likewise, Better Talent, Steve Trover. If you're in the vacation rental space, you know Steve. He is an OG of the industry as well. Steve, I look forward to seeing you at the Vacation Rental Management Conference in April in New Orleans. In fact, I'll see a lot of you there. As you know, we'd love to start as we're waiting for people to come on. We have almost 200 participants from around the world. So I'd like to give a few shout outs as we're waiting for people to come online today. First of all, a lot of clients. I see clients where I just was last week. Hello, Jennifer Matthews and Sarah Elizabeth Jordan from Sanders Realty. Thank you for the wonderful dinner that you took me out to. I see Miles, the marketing director from Compass Resorts, where I was Thursday and Friday. Miles, not only did you give up a full day, half a day for the hospitality class, half a day for reservations to join me, and now you're back again. Marco Escapes, Jason Byington, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you guys are doing well. These are all clients shout outs. Prestige Hotels, by the way, your scores are looking great for the call scoring. Danielle, I see you, a lot of other people. Gabriella, Nizuk Resort Cancun. You know I love Nizuk. And congratulations on getting your Forbes 5th star. It looks like I'll be back there in April. I don't think my brain is quite turned on for a Monday. Back in April, and also again in October, November. Mission Point, Leslie and Phyllis, it's been way too long, and I can't believe we've been matching our travel paths here. Every time I go on LinkedIn or Facebook, Leslie, we seem to be in the same town, but we have yet to get together. A lot of revenue VPs. Hello, Emily from Highgate Hotels. I look forward to seeing you in New Orleans. Griffin from HI Development. Thank you, SVP of Revenue Management joining us. Trevor Stewart Hill and your team at Revenue Managers. We appreciate you coming on today as well, and I hope this video brings value to you and your many, many clients. LBA Hospitality, I don't think we've ever connected, but when we went through the list, there must be at least 10 signups from LBA Hospitality. We went to your website. You have some beautiful properties. I would love to work with you on our other services at any point. A lot of vacation rental companies that are all such regulars. Village Properties, I'll see you guys in March for your on-site training for hospitality. Sun Realty, you're always there. Saltwater Vacay, Rent Branson, you've been with us for a couple of years now. Several hotels. Nick at the Biltmore Miami, Coral Gables, you're always on our webcast. Thank you. New folks, Brian and Max, Four Seasons, New York. And then our international clients, you know, we generally touch usually all 6 continents. I think we might be missing Asia today, unless Joya, if I missed anybody, message me. But we have Maja from the Hotel Akalar, Croatia, Sarah, Beirut, Movenpick. It's so nice to see you. I think you've been on every webcast that since we've done this. Mase Herrera, Australia, a student. I hope you're not having to watch this live. I think it's about midnight in Australia right now. And Makinda from Nairobi, another regular. And I believe you're in the culinary field, so thank you for joining us. And then, of course, Roommate Hotels. We have Hake and Ida once again, and Roommate has been with us. So thank you to all of you. I know I can't get to everybody every month, but we do look at the list. And, you know, I'm standing here alone in my office with the door closed, staring at a webcam. It really helps me know that you guys are out there. So feel free to send me an email, hit me up on LinkedIn, go to kennedytrainingnetwork.com. You can email me directly. Let's get down to it now. It's 12:05. We always have about a 35, 40-minute action-packed webcast. This one is very tactical. What I mean by that is we're going to give specific tactics you can use in hotel reservation selling, Also in group and event sales and wedding sales. Many of you, especially if you're in the SMERF markets, the small meetings, events, fraternal groups, sports. Um, Also, a lot of hotel salespeople join us. So we appreciate that. Next month, we're actually doing one just for hotel group and event sales. It's on standing out when they stop by. So we're going to delve into a topic that the Hazelton Toronto sales team asked me for, which was to revisit how to really wow them with a site tour. But today is all about quoting the rates. And revenue managers, I love having a huge turnout from you because we're going to be talking about you today and how all of the advances that we have had in revenue management impact salespeople and reservation salespeople, and also front desk for LBA when you may have, and also Prestige hotels where you take the reservation calls at the front desk. But also people object to the rates at the front desk when they've already booked. So if you are from reservations or revenue or sales directors, a lot of this webcast will be a good lunch and learn for your front desk folks as well. So let's take a look at this. And I just remembered to put out my handout here for my slide deck. Why are these topics especially important right now? So let's first look at right now. If you're watching this live, some of you may watch this months or years from now on our YouTube channel, but live today, noon Eastern time, February 19th. First of all, we're pretty early in the calendar year, in the fiscal year. Some of you may be on a different fiscal year. Most fiscal years are the calendar years. I'm going to ask you a question. Did your annual budget that the ownership set, did it call for higher rates? Well, I bet it called for higher revenue. And with the economies of the world and the situation they are right now, it's going to be hard to build occupancy. To increase RevPAR, we got to do it on rate. 35 years of doing training, and before that, about 8 years working in the industry. I do not ever remember one year when the ownership handed operations a budget that was for less revenue than the year before. Even in the Great Recession, even in times of Desert Storm, Desert Shield here in the United States, they always expect more, don't they? Sound familiar? Now, February 2024, a lot of you are entering your peak booking season, especially if you're in a resort business. So it's going to be summer soon. Now, some of you are also in the middle of ski season if you're if you're a winter destination. We have a lot of city center hotels. City centers are getting a rebound in traffic. I know New York, Seattle, Chicago, bookings are up. People want to come back to see the Field Museum of Chicago or the Metropolitan Museum of Art, or to come back for Broadway events, or to go to Rodeo Drive. So summer city business is also a little bit leisure focused. Now, revenue managers have more than ever more and better data. Okay, so this is beyond, I want you all to think beyond February 2024 and think back to the mid 2020s of the time that we live in now. And why are these topics in our era so important? Revenue managers today have more and better data for predicting demand, tracking pace, and the competition's rate. Now, hotels, we started in revenue management in the mid 90s. In fact, actually, around 1989, I remember the first revenue manager I ever met was my dear friend, Edgar Guerin, Cornell grad. He worked for a company called the Continental Group, which became Carnival Hotels, which then got rolled up to Interstate and everything else. But it's just now probably Aimbridge. But they were the first yield managers. And I think they even worked on Lotus back then before we had Excel. It was a very manual process. In the mid 90s, my company, previous company, HSA International, that I co-founded, we taught revenue management. It was a very manual process. And there were some levers, but now we have more, and the STAR report had just come out, STR, which is now CoStar bought STR, as many of you know. It's a lot more sophisticated now, okay, and it gets more sophisticated every year. In the vacation rental business, you all have just really gotten into the world of professional revenue management maybe the last 5 to 7 years, when several sourcing data companies are now providing you with the blended data that hotels have had since 1989, when Randy Smith started Smith Travel. And of course, then we had the Travel Click, the Hotelligence 360, and now you have more data than ever before. At the same time, property management systems make dynamic pricing easier, because it used to be we'd have to go and change the rate for every single room, for every single date pattern. But now for most systems, you can, a few keystrokes, and you can switch up the rates. So it makes it a lot easier now to pull those levers. So revenue managers, you have a lot more levers to pull. You have better data on which to base those decisions, and it's easier to pull those levers. So probably you're pulling those levers a lot more frequently. Now, on the other side of the phone call, the other side of the email exchange, the other side of the chat or textual exchange, we have buyers. Their side has advanced too. They have easy access to pricing across multiple channels. So if you're selling transient hotels, or of course, vacation rental, vacation rental guests, or group and event people, they can all go online very easily. You know, it doesn't seem like that long ago to me that people had to call to get the prices, okay? And even into, you know, the early 2000s, people had a computer, but by the time you fired it up and did your dial-up internet and waited for, you know, your kid to get off the phone, or if you're a kid, your mom to get off the phone, but you're waiting for your kid to get off the phone off the computer, so we could get on the phone and call up a bunch of hotels to get a price, or rental companies. Now it is so easy. Then once you do book, you can put a rate tracker or monitoring app, and you can go on there and get predictive information on what's going to happen and when is the best time to book. There's companies like Hopper that have offered this for airlines, but now everyone is Google, Kayak, or starting to offer these for tracking hotel, and I presume vacation rentals as well. Now on the group and event sales, online meeting planners, once again, they used to have to call up 3 companies, 3 hotels, 3 resorts, get a proposal, get a bid, but now they can go to Cvent, The Knot, Wedding Mire, they can go to meetingplanner.com, they can go to Groups 360, and they can actually, on some of those sites I mentioned, they can actually book it themselves if they want. So as a result, you have to explain the highest rates, because rates have gone up, the most complex rate strategies in the history of lodging to the most savvy consumers we've ever had. That's why I think our turnout is really good for our webcast today. So that is our setup. I would always like to talk about the whys behind the whats. We are now going to spend the rest of our time together on the whats. The reason I like to cover the whys, a lot of the people who sign up are the leaders, and I want you to think about how hard it is to quote these rates, to explain these rate restrictions and limited availability issues to savvy consumers. So step number 1, convince yourself that the rates are worth it. Quote your rates with confidence, even if they seem high to you. I often share the story of when I started working at my first hotel. I had traveled a lot as a kid, you know, usually in a camper. And as I've shared with many of my regulars, you know that I often share that if we ever stayed at a hotel, it was almost guaranteed to have a number in the brand logo. For example, Motel 6, Super 8, National 9. And then one day I'm working at a 4-star Marriott. Our rates back then were like $129 to $159. That was a lot of money back then. Then I went to New York City, and the average room was in the 250s, but most of our rooms were suites, 5th Avenue, overlooking the Metropolitan Museum of Art, mid 600s in 1985, 86 era. It was really hard for me to change up my perspective. I would actually apologize. Oh, all we have left are our suites overlooking 5th Avenue, where you're going to see movie stars at our terrace below us. Also, when you see rates jumping around, people, we got to trust the revenue managers or know what they're doing. This really goes out to the meeting planner, I'm sorry, to the hotel salespeople and the event salespeople, where you have meeting planners actually hammering you. Trust that your revenue manager will give you a rate, because the revenue manager, she knows that if you don't take the group, they don't want to pay that rate, you're going to fill it up with transient, or there's a history there. Also, I didn't have on the slide, but we have better data. We also have revenue management technology systems and great third-party support companies like Revenue Matters, Trevor Stewart Hill and team. So trust them. Avoid, next up, we have our next tactic. We're going to roll through a lot of these now. Avoid inadvertently creating objections. Avoid accidentally creating an objection that doesn't happen. Let me tell you, we hear this all the time. Our KTM team, we have about 20 people. They spend their day either logging in to cloud-based recording, downloading, and scoring real calls. So if you have TrackPulse, thank you for again for sponsoring us, or any other cloud-based recording platform, we can actually listen to real calls. And if you don't, our mystery shoppers place test calls, mystery shop calls. I cannot tell you how often we hear this still to this day. It should not be happening anymore. Now, we don't hear it as often from people where we've done training, but if it's our first time mystery shopping, we hear people saying, checking availability for your dates. Oh, sorry, we don't have any discounts at that time. Okay. Or checking availability, city hotels, checking availability. What are your dates? How many people? How many nights? Does your company have a special corporate rate with us? And now if they don't, they're like, how do we get that? Because we do a lot of business. We generate 5 room nights a year. That's actually not enough to get a special rate. So don't mention that companies have special rates. If you are concerned, operations managers, that you don't want to have to do adjustments at checkout for the guest, that he books and he's actually with Acme Chemical Company that has a special rate, but they forgot to ask, and then you have to adjust the rate at checkout. If that's the case, just ask for the company name. Don't ask if the company has a special rate. Do not, oh, this is one we hear the most though. Out of all the ones here, we hear the most. What are your days? How many nights? How many people? Do you got AAA? Do you have AARP? You sound a little old, sir. How old are you? Okay. Military discount? You remind people that they got that card, okay? Now, my wife, Kathy, she every year renews our AAA. She's very loyal to AAA. State Farm covers towing, okay? But we still have AAA. I don't know, maybe they're responsive. I haven't been towed in a while, but also that AAA card gets you 10% off, 15% off at a lot of places. But I'm a failure. I forget that it's in my billfold, okay? Actually, I don't have a billfold. I have a phone wallet, but I do carry it in my travel bag. But if somebody says, do you have AAA? I'm going to be like, I sure do. And then you're going to give me 10% off, and you just took money out of the company's profits. Okay. For meeting planners, do not say this. Oh, we hear a lot of this when we do group sales mystery shopping. Okay, well, for your dates, I was able to check, but the lowest rate our revenue manager will allow. Yeah, because there's us and them, like we're sales and we're on your side, but they're revenue management. That's what it's making it sound like. Now, interestingly, hotel salespeople, a lot of the buyers used to be you. Sometimes the meeting planner, the professional ones, Helms Risco people, they used to be hotel salespeople. And they will actually say, let me tell you how to sell this deal to your revenue manager, right? Because they know what he or she is going to be looking for. So be on the side of the company. Also, do not mention rates that are not available for their dates. Well, in checking availability, yeah, we normally have a 4th night free promotion going on right now in the summer, but it's blacked out for the week of the whole month of July. Don't tell them that. I'm showing all these things. This is what we find out in the world of mystery shopping and call scoring. And I believe it's because a lot of us are nice, kind people. We have the heart of hospitality, which is great, right? I have my heart of hospitality pin on. Oh, it's almost upside down. We want you to be kind, But let us also remember that a hotel is a business, a vacation rental company is a business, a resort is a business. We are here to make money, okay? That's why the company exists. And that's why you come to work. I know you love your boss. If you're sitting with your boss right now, give him a high five. If you really love him, give him a little shoulder hug, yeah, and tell him like, it's okay, boss. I would come to work even if you didn't pay me. Do you love your boss that much, right? I don't think so. Okay. And would you come to work if you didn't get paid? I don't think so. Would the company exist if it didn't make profit? I don't think so. Be on the side of the company because they have a lot of expenses. Side with your company, not the meeting planner. Okay. People will be pressing your buttons. Okay. Do not agree with them and pile on the criticism like, oh, I know rates have been crazy these last few years. It's like, it's even higher than inflation. I mean, every time I buy eggs, the price goes up. But gosh, our rooms, they're going up even higher. I'm trying to make you laugh and chuckle, but sometimes we hear people agreeing with the meeting plan. All right. So let's move on to our next set of objections. Sometimes people give you general, non-specific objections to the rate. So rather than a specific reason, they simply offer a general objection, okay? Wow, that rate is really high. Pause, okay? Now, why do people do this? Do you think they're really shocked? Let's just think about that for a minute. Almost everybody has been online. They have rate trackers. They can go directly to your website. Where do they get your phone number from? The phone book? I don't think so. Directory assistance? Does directory assistance still work? Remember 800-555-1212? I don't even know if that exists because I haven't called it because I've had a smartphone for 20 years, probably longer. They're going to your website first. That's where they get your number. They already know the price. If they say, wow, that rate is high, guess what? Why do they do this? Could it be they're just checking your reaction? Could it be that they may be just fine with the rates, but they want to make sure they get the best deal? Okay. Now, some people are nice about it. They always say, oh, hi, Sarah. Nice talking with you. You know, Sarah's my daughter's name, or I wanted to name my daughter Sarah, but my brother stole it for his daughter and he's older. Yeah, listen, sweetie, I'm both cheap and poor and I have no money. Yeah, can you please help me with the discount? Yeah, the sweet talkers, you ever get them? Then you get the opposite side, the meanies. I have traveled all around the world. I have never paid a hotel fee. Yeah, or a resort fee, or a cleaning fee, or a booking fee. So the truth is they're probably fine with the rates. They're just checking your reaction. Smart people always ask for a discount because they get it. My father, he would be 100 years old this year. Amazing. He was with me till age 85, 15 years without him, but he is wiser every year because he always said, son, it's not how much you make, it's how much you save. My father was all about saving money. And my father, he was the nice one. Hi, Sarah. How are you? Listen, sweetie. Yeah, he called people sweetie. All right. He was born in 1924. That's what people in the South did. You got a senior discount? My father started asking for a senior discount the day he got his first gray hair, I think. And he got it. People want to help him. Okay. So let's give our hospitality in other ways without giving the store away, without giving the company's money away. So they're fine with rates. They're just checking your reaction. Wow, your rates are really high. Here's what to say. You might want to do screen captures on these tactics from here on, or you might want to just watch the replay. You will get it automatically. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to check around, Douglas, but our rates are very competitive for our level of hospitality excellence. You're confident. They already know the price, okay? Now, I don't know if you had a chance to check around, but our rates are very competitive. If they still continue to resist, by the way, are your dates flexible? If you could visit a little earlier, a little later, the rates tend to be a little lower and the weather is still usually pretty good. Now, again, this example would be let's say at a beach resort, it would be coming in May or be coming the second half of August. A lot of schools are starting early. I feel bad for kids. We used to get 3 months off in the summer. Now it's more like 2. Maybe that's because they're getting a better education. They're going to be smarter than me. But second half of August or after Labor Day, schools in the Northeast United States tend to go back right after Labor Day. The weather's still warm, especially the last few years. Ski resorts. What about if you could come second half of March or early December? And, you know, at least it shows we're trying to help you. We want to help you get a discount, right? We want to help you get the lowest rate, okay? But of course, most of the time they're going to say no. And then you're going to say, well, you know, July really is the best time for the beach. February really is when we tend to have the best snow, right? Another option, have you ever considered another accommodation category? Okay, so I don't want you to say you ever considered another accommodation category. If you're a hotel, I want you to say another floor or room type. If you're a resort, a lot of you sell views. People don't generally say, hi, I want to book the obstructed view. They're going to want to have slope side at the ski resort, lakeside at the beach resort, mountain view, beach view, ocean view, Gulf view. Okay. But have you ever considered our partial views? Okay. Because you still have a partial view of the ocean. Yeah. If you lean out your balcony, crane your neck, and turn to the right, you will actually see a little bit of the ocean. Just kidding. But let them know you will have a partial view. By the way, we don't want to oversell it. What does partial mean? Well, you always want to sell to the lowest option that they're going to get. So for example, some hotels and revenue managers, you know, this is, if you're on this, you probably already know this because you want to be the best. That's who comes to my webcast. But if you're new to the business, you may want to think about this. If we have a partial ocean view that sometimes you walk out and it's pretty much like what, 90, 110 degree view of that, and you have another partial view in the same category where you literally have to crane your neck and lean out, and they're both the same category, maybe that should be 2 different room categories, okay? But again, now I'm getting off track. So have you ever considered another view? Because that is a lower rate, and they all have the same amenities and services. And besides, Douglas, there's so much to do here. You know, you might not be in the room that much anyway, because there's so much to do. You can be out at our pool deck. You can be walking down the beach. You can be walking over to the slopes or right down to the dock of the lake, or you can step right out your city center hotel. You will be a short subway ride to the Museum of History, okay? You may not be in the room that much anyway, and it is a lower rate, okay? Now, next up, positioning rates as a good value, okay? This is another trick. Where do you think I learn all these things? I learn them from you, our participants. When you quote those higher categories, suites, homes, and villas, where they have 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, this is really good for if you're selling suites, 2, 3 bedrooms. Nizuc Resort Cancun, I know you have, I forget what you call them now, villas where you can have a whole family there. You can have a couple of families there. Vacation rental companies, you have 2, 3 bedrooms. You can say that rental is going to be $10,000 for the week, and so that's about $2,500 for each of the 4 families. That sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Okay, so per family, or it's 3 couples, they have raised their kids, they want to go on the couples getaway, it'll be $6,000 for the week. It's about $2,000 per couple, okay? Moving on, how to explain high season rates. Some mention that the rates are significantly higher than they previously paid. So this guy here, he's gonna say, what? I'm just going to use some numbers. I know these numbers may seem very low for you if you're at a luxury resort, or very high for you if you're, if you're at a mid-scale resort, but you're going to have people at both ends. So your first, I'm going to say $250. $250 a night. Wow, that's crazy. Last time I stayed there, it was only 200. I know what you all say. You probably say this right here. Your first reaction is the current rates go up when it's busy. Oh, sir, well, that's because right now you're coming in the summer or you're coming President's Day to ski, and the rates go up when it's busy. You might as well say, sir, it's actually because we practice this thing called revenue management and to increase our RevPAR, which is revenue per available room, because our goal here in capitalism is to make profits. And whenever a lot of guests like you want to come, we charge more. I don't think you want to get into that debate, but that's what we're saying when we say the rates go up when it's busy. So summer is the busiest time here, so the rates go up. Or city hotels, you probably have either higher rates on the weekends if you're in Times Square, or you have if you're in a airport hotel, or you're in a corporate office park market, you might have lower rates on the weekend. So the rates go up on the weekends or the weekdays, okay? And now this is how the person's gonna be like, I love this picture. I use this guy's photo a lot. Here's a better way. Explain that the high demand rates are the normal rates. We don't raise rates when it's busy. Who ever said the low rate is the normal rate and we jack up the price when it's busy? That's not what we do. What we do is the normal rate is that top tier rate, right? And when our occupancy drops, we're able to offer you lower rates. Let's go back to our example. Last time I stayed here, it was 250. It was 200 a night, and you're quoting me 250. Oh, okay. Well, for these dates, our normal rates apply, but it is the best time to visit. There's more to do on the weekends, in the summer, in the middle of the winter when there's snow. Yeah, that's when our normal rates apply. But what we do is we lower them in the off season. So, or when the demand is less, we lower them. So last time you must have come when the demand is less. Are your days flexible? Because I'd love to check for a lower rate. And revenue managers, you love me right now. Salespeople are like, why do we want to sell lower rates? Because that's when we need business, because that's a lever revenue managers pull, right? Elastic demand, right? Lower the rate, the price that you drive the lever of occupancy. Okay. Now, when rates go up between the first call and the callback, this happens a lot. What I want you to do is consider the good old airline strategy. Just like the airlines, there's a limited number of seats at each fare type, and these rate categories are sold out. Okay. So we always want to try to get them to book now. May I secure that for you, Mr. Kennedy? Well, I'm not ready. Well, that's fine, but just to let you know, availability could change. We have a limited number of that room type, but also the rate could change, okay? And then if they call back, you know that they've been notified already, okay? And now they're mad. Well, just like the airlines, there's a limited number of seats at each fare type, and those rate categories are sold out. That still may not pacify every angry guest, but it sounds better than saying it's not available. That rate is not available. When you say not available, it's like saying, I got it, but you can't get it. Okay, so try that. Now, this one goes out for those of you, oh, I have a lot of clients. I'm not going to name you by name, but a lot of you are really good at direct email promotions. Some of you have a giant whiteboard in the meeting room. Now you know who I'm talking to because I see you every year. I got an email about your email campaigns because you do them every week. I know because a lot of my clients send me those emails every week. I just got an email for you about this special rate, extra night free, book 3, get 4th night free, something like that. We do not want to say, oh, that rate is not available. Then you have a caller that says, well, that's bait and switch. What do you mean not available? Just say, sure, that is available for early June, second half of August, before Memorial Day, after Labor Day, yeah, weeknights and the weekend destination, weekends at the corporate weeknight destination, yeah, it is available. Don't say it's not available. It is available for other nights. Are your dates flexible? Okay. Okay, next up, I know a lot of these are very specific, but I hope you hang with me because if you do this, you will love the suggestion, I hope. If you don't have this, please hang on. I'm sure something will come for you. How to explain mid-stay variance. Now, some of you, a lot of you, quote a stay rate. This is what a lot of the revenue management systems have integrated with the property management, and we quote a stay rate. But sometimes, even in that scenario, the caller asks us to break it down by night of the week, okay? Or the guest will ask us to break it down. Now, some of you quote it by day of the week, okay, because you're concerned that if the guest checks out a day early and the day that they drop is a low priced night, then they're going to be confused because they think it should be the average for the entire stay. So let's say if the stay is $250 a night and $1,000, $1,000 averaging $250 a night, but one night is 300 and one night is 200. Okay. What most people do is say the first two nights it's 200, and then starting Friday the rate goes up to $250. And now the guest is confused. They're like, well, I don't want to change rooms. And then we say, oh, the rate goes up for the same room. People still think there's a price for each room. So the solution here is quoted the higher rated nights first, even if it falls later in the guest stay. Okay, ready for an example? Do not say the first two nights, the rate is 200, it goes up. Instead say, for the last two nights of your stay, Douglas, the rate will be 250, but for the first two nights, I can offer you a lower rate of 200. Aw, aren't I nice? See the difference? It's all in how we position it. Next up, rate framing. Okay, now rate framing is something that people who sell online, they do this all the time. The normal rate is X, but I have it available for Y. So if you have, now it depends on your property management system. Sometimes they show the prevailing kind of list price. We call this rack rate still. I actually remember a hotel front desk rack, which is what I was trained on. They were just converting to computers with Marriott at that time. So, but I like to use the term prevailing rate. So the prevailing rate, if you see it in your computer, you can do this, or if you're a hotel that has a simple rate categories, you may be able to do it by memory. Vacation rental companies, also it depends on your system. The normal rate is 250, but for your dates, I can offer you a rate of 225. So that makes it seem that they're already getting a good value. That's called rate framing in the retail market. Some people call this slash pricing, where it shows the normal price slash here's what you're going to pay. Okay, and this is a very important sales technique. Hotel group sales, event sales, you always want to say the prevailing rate for your dates are 250, but with your wedding block or with your sports team, we can extend a rate of 200. Okay, now last sell, periods of peak demand very often and high inventory. Which rooms are left? It tends to be either at the top end or the low end of that spectrum of continuum of options, okay? And so what we usually say is what I want you not to say. Checking availability. Oh, all we have left is, and what did you just say? You made it sound like what's left is the leftovers. All we have left. And now you might as well say it's too high, it's overpriced, I know you can't afford it. Or all we have left is the worst options and you should have called earlier, buddy, like your wife said. Yeah. So instead, I want you to say checking availability. Oh, fortunately, what I still have left. Doesn't that sound better? So when all you have left is all you have left, never say it's all you have left. Fortunately, what I still have. Now, what I want you to do is acknowledge it might be larger or smaller than what it was they were looking for, okay? So I know it's just the two of you, and it is a 2-bedroom suite. I know it's you and your partner, your wife, your husband, your significant other. I know it's just the two of you and you wanted a room with a king, and this is a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom, but we still have it. And also, here's the good thing about it. You know, it's almost like a lot of times how this plays out in mystery shops. Hi, it's just my wife and I, and we're going away for our anniversary. Oh, checking availability. Oh, sir, all I have left is 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom. Yes, sir. And just to let you know, we do require you to sleep in all beds, including the bunk beds in the 3rd room. Yes, we do bed checks. If you don't sleep in all beds during your stay, there is an extra charge, a penalty that will be charged to your card. Yeah, that's what we make it sound like. Fortunately, what we still have left, I know you only needed 1 bedroom, but if we have 3, okay? Or check-in availability, our ocean views are sold out, but we still have the garden view. Or maybe you wanted mom and dad and the 5-year-old wanted the separate bedroom. What we still have is the 1-bedroom suite, and there is a sofa bed in the living room, and there's a door. So when your child goes to bed, it's like the Airbnb commercial right now. You don't have to share a bedtime, okay? Downselling, another one we have. Sometimes what's left is a room that has glaring deficiencies. Maybe it has an obstructed view. Maybe it has that quaint, traditional, rustic decor, but that's why I say you want to let them know this is not our most updated. It is a very traditional beach decor, okay? But we still have it, and here's what's good about it. It's priced right, it's still available. That's the best thing about it, sir. It's still available, okay? Let's move on to a few more tactics. Minimum stays. I want to talk about this. Revenue managers put in minimum stays. We have a 2-night stay. We have a 3-night stay. I'm sorry, typically a 3-night stay, because this would be over a long weekend. Typically, this would be in the United States, we have Memorial Day, we have Labor Day, we have July 4th. Other countries around the world, thank you for joining us. I'm sure you have your foundational day or national day or whatever you call it, or holidays. We all share Hanukkah, Christmas, we have many different holidays, and you have 3-night minimum stay. So first say, we do have a 3-night minimum stay. Are you able to extend it? Okay. And you might even say, like most others in the area during this time, we do have a 3-night minimum stay or a 7-night minimum stay in some very successful beach resort areas, ski resort areas. Then if they say, no, I can't, then just say, well, you can book for the week, even though you only need 5 nights, or you can book for the 3 nights, even though you only need 2. And the good thing is, Douglas, you won't have to worry about early morning checkout on your last day. You can linger as long as you want on the last day of your vacation. Okay. Yeah, so you could book it for Friday and Saturday and Sunday night. And this way, Sunday, you won't have to check out 10, 11, 12. Okay, you can linger longer that day. Okay. Yeah, there's some value in that. Or if your reservation system is set up to coordinate this, you could get access to that accommodation early upon arrival. So let's say the guest, I'm going to use the 3-night stay, they want to stay Saturday and Sunday, but if they book for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when they arrive Saturday morning, the room will be ready. You just have to make sure the front desk does not make it a no-show. So you have to make sure that you pre-register them and go ahead and check them into your property management system. 5-day stays for a 7-night minimum, let them know. The great thing is when you get to the home, it'll be ready, and the last day, you won't have to leave. You can linger longer. Or if anyone in your party, if you're renting a large vacation home, they could stay a little bit longer, okay? Parking fees, couple more before I let you go. When guests object to parking, this is usually city center or very luxurious resort areas. People are like, wow, $50 for parking. Actually, I got this idea from the Carlisle Hotel, New York. They had, at the time, about 5 years ago, the most expensive parking ever, $95, okay? And somebody said, yeah, they just agree with them first. Yeah, I know $95 isn't that crazy, but you know, parking is at a premium here on the Upper East Side of New York City, okay? Do you really need a car? You know, we do have Uber, there are transportation companies we can get. No, I'm gonna have a car. Well, our parking is secured, Douglas. Also, it's underground or covered. So if you're in a winter destination, your car won't be covered with snow. If you're in a summer destination, your seats will not be scorching you when you sit down on them. And we do offer unlimited in and out privileges. Are you sure you need that car? Okay. All right, I think we are on to our last one, our last tip. Now this will, oh, sorry, one more. Hotel fees. What do you mean a hotel fee? This is outrageous. Okay. Well, like other hotels in the area, we do offer the hotel fee, which covers. Okay. Now you want to let them know what is covered, but you want to try to mention the things that are most specific to their situation or story. Okay. And so that's why when you come back for our other reservation class webcasts, or have us out to do on-site training or hire us for remote training, we spend a lot about getting to know the story behind the guest plans, and then you can tailor the description of what the fee covers to their story. All right, final one, a couple of slides on this before I wrap up with you. Fade or fallback strategies. Now, this applies to everyone, even if you don't have one. If you don't have a fallback strategy, I want you to know why. Callers ask. Some companies empower their reservation sales agents to offer special discounts when it makes sense to do so. So they will say, okay, team, I believe in you. You are empowered to give a 5 or maybe a 10% discount, because they know that's going to save them on OTA commissions for the caller who calls, and you have rate parity between Booking and Expedia and your rates. But if you give them a 5 or 10% discount, you can close the deal and get a direct booking. If you're a vacation rental company, you probably mark up and pass on OTA fees, but still you may want to empower them to give a small discount to get a direct booking, because then they're going to know your company. They're not going to think they're staying with Vrbo, which is the most annoying thing, right? Oh, I booked with Vrbo. Who are you? So you may do this. You may not do this, and I will cover you in a minute. So reservation sales agents, they trust you. They know you're only going to offer these additional discounts shoulder off season for particularly long stays or certain accommodation types that we need to sell. Okay. So if you do not offer this, I want you to understand why people ask, because they've had success elsewhere. Remember what I said, they're checking your reaction. And if they are an experienced traveler, they're the most likely to say, I was just wondering, is that the best you can do? Yeah, because I was going to book somewhere else. You know, again, some of them are nice, like my father was. Got anything lower? Yeah, for poor little old me. But some people are mean. And if you don't offer a fade or fallback, I want you to say, well, just to let you know, sir, we always quote our lowest available rates automatically. I'd be glad to lock that in before the rate changes, because that rate could sell out and I still have it available. Don't let them go back online if possible. At least try to close it. Now, if you do have this strategy, okay, my last slide, what I want you to do is check further. Do not simply drop the rate. 250 a night, that's really high. Okay, sir, what about 225? 225, they're here 225. Okay, 200, you take it for 200. Okay, 195, 195. You sound like the auctioneer and you lose credibility. Now, I, Doug Kennedy, would never stand in a webcast and tell you to lie. But what we can do is package the truth advantageously, because we do have to check further. 250 a night, that's out of my budget. Thank you anyway. Sir, before I let you go, let me check further. And then I don't know what you want to do. You can either take the mouthpiece of your phone, lean down towards the keyboard, click that space bar a few times, or place them on hold and check with your boss. And now the boss comes by. Doug, why do you have a call on hold? You're not even talking. I'm checking with you, boss. And you're saying yes. Oh, okay. I checked further. And now in checking further, Douglas, if we can lock this in now, I can offer you a special rate. It's normally $250, but I got special permission to lock this in for you now for $225. I tell, use this to create urgency. Well, thank you everyone from around the world. I'm super excited once again to have a huge turnout for our class today, and looking, and it's just amazing. We have well over half of you, it looks like, live, and considering the different time zones, it warms my heart. I know many of you now realize you get the recordings. If you're present or absent, you always get the recordings to share. So thank you to Track, TravelNet Solution. Thank you to Travel Outlook, the premier call center. Thank you to Better Talent. Your funding helps us promote this. We saw a lot of you, we see the source that you found out about this through our news releases, which are paid by our sponsors. Also, some of you received messages from our sponsors. Next up, we have best habits for hotel sales site tours stand out when they stop by. We will come back to this one. Oh, I bet a lot of you are going to want this one. How to successfully fielding legitimate complaints and stopping the full refund scammers. We will talk about both. And then reservation sales, we come back to you. It's not our job to help them find what's available. It is our job to help them decide. That will be in May. All of these, thanks to Julia, our marketing coordinator, are on our Kennedy Training Network. Just go to YouTube, kennedytrainingnetwork.com. Kennedy Training Network in YouTube. Reach out to us, on-site training workshops. I'd love to come out personally. We also have other trainers. Private live webcam training. I have an amazing training team that meets with you. Not a big audience like this, but in a small group, one trainer and your team in a meeting room or office. Conference presentations, if you're planning a GM, a director of sales, an association conference. Mystery shop and call scoring, if you have TrackPulse call recording, we can score real calls, or if you have any other recording platform, we can score your calls, we can mystery shop you, and we do offer private live coaching. Thank you very much, everyone. Email me personally if you have any feedback. Join us next month on the KTN webcast series. Happy Monday to you all.